This is our Q3 market update. Now this update only pertains to the downtown markets, and the downtown markets are the South Loop up to Lakeview, Logan Square, down to the West Loop. All of this information comes from InfoSparks, which is directly connected with the MLS. Q3 was a good market. It wasn't great, it wasn't as good as Q2, but it was a very solid market. We did notice things started to come to a little bit of a slowdown towards the end of the quarter, and it's probably because of what we were dubbing as the summer sizzle. People had lives, they had weddings, they had events, and with life opening up a little bit more, it made the market kind of slow down because people, believe it or not, were not thinking about real estate as much. We did see more confidence rise in the heart of the city, while at the same time, the little buildings, which have been hot, cooled off a little bit. It is still a buyer's market in the heart of the city, while the smaller buildings are still experiencing a slight edge to the seller. But what we're saying doesn't really matter, because all that matters are the stats. So let's look at the stats of what really happened in the third quarter. Sales price, on average, it was up about 1.2%. That's the slowest growth out of the 3 quarters. The near north was down 3.5%, and Lincoln Park was also down 3.5%. The best performing area was the West Loop, with it being up 5.3%. Overall, sales prices were still somewhat up, but the growth was the slowest in the third quarter. Market time. Market time was up a little bit to 81 days on average. The near north side was hit the worst, and it had an average of 130 days on the market, while Lakeview performed the best at 47 days average. Overall, market time was up slightly in almost all of the areas. Supply has fallen. We're actually down to 4.6 months of inventory in the marketplace. The near north side, which once had over 12 months of supply, is now down to 7 months. The lowest amount of inventory on the market right now is in Westtown at 3.1 months. Overall, supply has fallen because a lot of people who couldn't sell actually rented their properties out, which is a drastic difference from this time last year when nobody could rent at all. Sales are up 29%. The highest performing area was actually the Loop at 90.1%. Now, remember, the Loop is performing so well because it had such terrible sales in the first 2 quarters. Also note that the near north side performed very well at a 51.4% growth in sales. Now, it shows you that the confidence is starting to come back to the heart of the city. The worst performing area is actually Westtown, which was down 6.4%. Westtown is down because they had a gangbuster first 2 quarters, and we typically see a slowdown in sales in the third quarter compared to the first 2 there. Overall, sales are doing very well in the downtown markets. Overall, we did see a very strong third quarter, even though we saw a little bit of a slowdown towards the back half of that quarter. We do fully expect to see a nice fall push as we enter into the fourth quarter, and I always say that championships are won in the fourth quarter. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay up to date in the market, hit the bell, subscribe to our page so you're notified first of the latest information of what's happening in the Chicago market.